Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of The Real Hero Show. Nick here with you. And today we are going to be going through a spoilerific review of Episode 6, Season 2 of C, premiering on AppleTV+. If you haven't seen the show or this episode, I highly suggest you go check that out and come back here and come watch this review I'm about to do with you guys. So, if you're new to the channel, do us a big favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. Share with your friends, your family, your pets, anyone else that you possibly can to just help us out here. Hit that bell for all future notifications. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. I have some notes here, and what I'm going to do is split this episode into two different halves because there are only two different points of interest within this episode. We've got Kofun and Sibith's relationship, and of course the delegation, which was a major part of this episode. I'm going to start with Kofun and Sibith first, because it's a little bit shorter. There's less, but there's more implications on what it means, though. One of the things that we see Paris do, Paris gives some warning. She heeds Kofun to stay away and be careful of the queen, because there's only one thing that the queen wants. Of course, Kofun says, I think she's just trying to get people to trust her. She doesn't, trust a lot of people. Well, that's true to a certain extent, but we also know that she uses a lot of people, and she only really wants to get away with what she knows, and that's her own agenda to, rule the Payan Empire, and then, of course, eventually take over the Travantians and push around to be the strongest power on that continent. We see a little bit of Kofun and Toad training. Toad gives him a valuable lesson and gives him a little cover to cover his eyes. And it reminded me a little bit of A New Hope with Luke when Obi-Wan tells him to cover his eyes. Obviously, the two characters from this show and Star Wars are kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum, where you've got Luke is a Jedi and Kofun is not a Jedi, and but does have a special gift as sight, and Toad being the mentor, as Obi-Wan is the mentor, so you get the comparison. But then he's actually able to dodge the sword, or rather move away from the sword, and it gets stuck on the wooden pole there. And again, a little bit more of the relationship between Kane and Kofun, where Queen Kane, Sibith, asks Kofun for a horseback ride. Of course, the first thing that pops into my mind is it's just manipulation. She's just going to, use Kofun and take advantage of him. And sure, it's seemingly innocent horseback ride, and maybe she did enjoy it. I don't think all of it was fake, but you never know, really, because obviously we're not sitting inside of Sibith's head. But again, I think the real thing here is the vast manipulation that she's pouring over Kofun, right? Like again, later on in the episode, they're at dinner eating, and Sibith basically offers Kofun a little trip. So they take some sort of drug, and it was a very, very seductive approach. And of course, the whole time I'm like, obviously we know her plan here is to make a baby with Kofun, and at one point they make a pact, right? They make a pact to not lie to each other, which this doesn't bode well for Kofun at all, because all Sibith's trying to do here is gain his trust, so that if anyone else questions the queen, whether it be his own father, his sister, Paris, anyone, he's gonna kind of give them his rebuttal. He's not gonna like it. He's probably going to get a little defensive for the queen, and think what he's doing is right, but he's just a naive teenager or young adult. And of course we get another risque scene there, that they do the dirty deed. They knock some boots. And so I think it's safe to say that maybe not this season we'll get, since there's only 2 episodes left, but maybe in the 3rd season we'll get the word that Sibith is pregnant again and that the baby will be sighted. And there is a final scene, of course, with Sibith towards the end of the episode. But I really want to dive into the delegation part, because obviously this is where the huge chunk of the episode was important and had vast and dire consequences for the queen, the princess, the main characters like Baba Voss and of course Ito Voss and everyone. So it starts out with Paris having a premonition. You hear the swords, you hear the shrieks, the cries, a premonition of blood and betrayal. And she says that Baba and Magra can't leave. It's too late. So Haniwa gets on a horseback and rides to find them. We get a cut scene where Ren gets promoted to captain from Ito, and he reminds her that that the talks must fail at the delegation. They cannot go through. They cannot find some sort of agreement because he's not going, so she's going in his place. On the journey to the delegation, obviously Harlan is he's still grieving for his brother Kerrigan, so he's kind of hitting the booze a little bit. And Magra says, "Hey, mind your manners. You can't misstep." Of course, that does end up happening, and Haniwa does catch up to them, right? And they don't leave. Now, it's a drama TV show, so of course it would. While it makes sense that they would leave, they should leave. They should go back and heed Paris's premonition. And even Baba Voss says to Haniwa, she's been wrong before. And Haniwa says, who? The queen? Or sorry, Mom or Magra or Paris? And Baba says, both. Interesting, right? And that's when Harlan snaps during the delegation because they mention how, I think it was Commander Watts that mentions beheading Harlan's brother and sending it back to him as a courtesy. Now, I don't know about you, but I sure as hell would have been triggered and tilted if someone taunted that at me, especially after I've been hitting the booze. So I don't blame Harlan, and of course, obviously he shouldn't have hit her, but at the same time, it could have been much worse. I wasn't sure if that's how it was going to all unfold there. With the betrayals or whatnot, but obviously it didn't. And of course, because it's neutral territory, no one can be arrested. They were just separated to resume later on. And of course, there's this secret meeting between Magra, Harlan, and Baba, and Scopus from the Travantians. And the idea behind this is to have a future arrangement, a deal to be made between the two of them. And Magra drops this sort of plan to Scopus saying, Queen Kane will no longer be queen in the near future because we're going to remove her. And of course they say, listen, all we have to do is offer an apology, but it's a fake apology. And once Magra takes over, they'll rescind the apology and clear the truth about Sibith, which would obviously make her look even worse and understand, say, listen, Magra is the rightful, the better heir to the throne. And it would all work out well, right? But it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Interestingly enough, there's Baba Voss makes the hard call, the slight sacrifice to sleep outside, because of the image that it would have given if he would have gone in the tent with Magra and not Harlan, because Harlan is married to the princess for the reasons we know of, and he's got to keep the royalty image, right? So the next day, when there's the delegation that seems to be successful, and again, the idea that there's a catch of not letting any more sighted to grow within Apensa, or the Payan Empire. So again, it's peace built on lies, but maybe there's a greater truth that no one wants to hear, as Haniwa is telling this to Ren as they're up in which seems to look like an air traffic control tower. And of course, everyone is asleep at this point, right? And this is when it goes terribly wrong, because you can see the people that are sneaking around. And again, it's because Baba Voss decides to stay outside that he knows something is wrong, because he wakes up and he hears it. And it was actually a really great scene the moment he tricks the assassins and starts fighting them and kills one of them. And of course, Ren and Haniwa are startled, and so they come down from the tower. And one of the assassins goes in the Travantian tent, slices Commander Watts' throat, and then later, a few moments after that, Scopus is killed, and then the assassins are killed as well. But the big part, the big reveal here, is that Sibith actually sent the assassins, as Magra finds out by feeling their hands, the top of their hands, because there's markings on it, and the markings actually signify that they're from Pensa, or rather from the Payan Empire. So, Magra looks pretty pissed in that scene. And again, they're briefly discussing of how bad this is, and it is bad because it looks like they just killed two very important people. Of course, Ren thinks that Haniwa betrayed her, tricked her. This is what she wanted to distract her, which we know it's not, because it's a bit of a lover's quarrel between them. And again, we know that wasn't the intent from Haniwa. It was just a happenstance, and again, maybe if they just weren't, fooling around, maybe one of them could have stopped it. But at the same time, it is what it is, and people are dead, and it looks like it was a setup and a betrayal. So now war does seem inevitable. And again, it kind of comes towards the end of the episode here, where Queen Kane, Sibith, is eating alone at her dinner table, and you hear that someone has arrived, which I suspected it was Magra, so, the party from the delegation. And of course, she looks super pissed still, which I would imagine that ride back was probably very heated. And we see Magra come before Sibith, and I thought it was going to be a little bit more intense, and she just throws all of Sibith's food across the table. I thought she was going to hit her or choke her, or I don't know. Again, I thought it was going to be super intense at that point, because again, Sibith used her sister. She lied to her. She sabotaged the plan, the hope. And again, you've got the dueling agendas here. So it was sort of this thought episodes ago, where whose plan is going to come out on top, and now plans have shifted, which will lead to inevitable bloodshed from both sides. And of course, the very last scene is Ren reveals to Ito Voss that she can see by solving the puzzle. And I love that look on Dave Bautista's face. He just looks stunned. No pun intended, but he just looks stunned, and because he can't see it, but he can feel it, and understanding that, holy crap, this entire time she's been able to see. So I'm kind of wondering what Baba Voss is actually thinking about everything that he's ever done, because as he states, he doesn't believe that she's a traitor, because he's raised her since she was a child. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Ito Voss is still going to trust Ren? Do you think that he's going to think back about everything that they've ever been through, especially with Haniwa escaping? Do you think she might be honest about that, while still lying by saying, hey, I know she was leaving, but I love her, or I have feelings for her, something along those lines, or I wasn't fast enough to stop her, but I saw that she was leaving again, so it's not like a true betrayal, but it was enough to kind of get by so that Ito doesn't kill her. And then more importantly, What do you guys think is going to happen with these next 2 episodes? Because we've got 2 left. The penultimate episode is next Friday, or this coming Friday. And again, I think we're going to see some very intense conversations between the sisters, Harlan, Bubba Voss, Haniwa, Kofun. I think it's going to get very, very interesting. And I can't wait to see the kerfuffles that are about to ensue. And of course, I don't think war will happen this episode 7. I think there's going to be the stages of pre-war or pre-battle, and I think the finale of this season, episode 8, will have more blood, more violence, and again the bloodshed that no one wants to see, but we're gonna get it anyways because. Sibeth is I hate to say it, but she's a bitch. And, again, I think Magra needs to be on the throne in order to help her people succeed and find some sort of peace. But, again, what do you guys think about Sibeth? What do you guys think about Magra? Do you think whose plan will come out on top? Do you think Sibeth will get dethroned this season, or will that not happen until maybe the end of this show, or maybe sometime in the 3rd season? Leave your comments below. I'm interested to see what anyone else has to say. And until next time, we'll catch you guys on the next video of C. Peace out.